Hey, Corey.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good. Good to see you again. It's been a minute.
I know. It's like a monthly occurrence for us now, making a habit out
Yeah,
of it.
we keep going. I feel like my Claude skills have improved a lot since the last time we hung out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you what I have cooked up. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. I've got a couple. I've I've verified everything's ready to go, so everything should work pretty smoothly. And I've got like three, four, five more SEO related ones that I can walk through. So I can't remember what I walked through the last time, but I'm pretty sure these are different than the last time.
awesome. Good to have variety in content. All right. Lots of folks today.
Yeah, this is great. What's up, everyone? The last time I did this, I got like a bazillion LinkedIn requests and DMs that were really kind. So there's definitely a great show out, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. I also had a lot of our community members tell me how useful it was and how they were very new to Cloud Code and that the session really taught them how to get started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're in, then it's easy. It's just getting set up and jumping over the initial learning curves of like the terminal and how does Cloud Code work? What are the different modes? All that kind of stuff. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Yeah. So just as people are streaming in, I would love to pose a question to the group, which is what is one use case that you would really love to see demoed today? And then also how often are you all using Claude Code already? So let me put the questions in. So one is like, what is one use case you want to see? And then second is your familiarity with Claude Code. Let's see. Okay, just to kick the get things started off, maybe Ed and Erica, would you all be able to volunteer use case you want to see and your familiarity with Cloud Code? Oh, interesting. Interactive elements for landing pages. Okay, this is good. A good survey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could show some interactive elements. KPI dashboards. Ooh.
There's also a depends on, I think the agents can build these kinds of things pretty quickly, but we're talking about interactive elements. Some of the more uh, fun ones, there's a skill for lead magnets and free tools as marketing. And both of those have a lot of interactive parts to them if we wanted to show those skills.
Yeah, we can see at the end if we have some time, we can do some live demos on some of these. Okay. All right. I think we got the juices flowing. Let's get things going. So I wanted to show folks the outline for today. Okay, this is my PowerPoint that I generated using my brand scale. So we're doing a Claude Code Marketing Skills workshop with special guest Corey Haines. Today's agenda is gonna be that we're gonna start with intros. I'm also gonna share a little bit about what Flint is, and then Corey's gonna go over what skills are, briefly how to download them, and then a demo. And then I also have a couple of demos prepped on how you can use the ad skills as well as the co-marketing skills. Brief introduction. Corey, thanks so much for joining us today. Corey's the founder of SwipeFiles, Conversion Factory, and Marketing Skills, the most respected set of skills on the market today for marketing. He's going to go through how to download them and how to use them. Myself, I am the co-founder of Flint. Flint is building the agentic platform that ships pages from your brand and your ad campaigns. We power pages for companies like Airtable, Glean, and Cognition. So a little bit about us is that our platform mirrors the brand from your website and helps you generate pages for Google Ads and any kind of campaigns, any kind of account-based marketing. And this platform is entirely accessible via UI, MCP, and API. Under the hood, we're actually using Claude, so it's a simpler way of using Claude via UI as opposed to terminal. And I'm going to show you very briefly how the platform works. So this right here is my Flint instance that runs my entire Flint website. So I have 500 pages. Don't ask me why I have so many, but I have 500 pages. And you can see the way that you use Flint is that you put your website URL in, and then we copy your brand into our platform. And then from here, you can create hundreds of pages for account-based marketing or for campaigns or to run your entire website. So right here is a page that was generated from a sales call of mine. You can see that everything here you see is directly editable. So I'm changing the word from changing the words, and then I could also change out images if I wanted to. So I can click this image. I could go through my asset library and then add another logo in there, for example. So someone in the chat asked about how do we add interactive components. So I'm going to give a demo of how you might be able to do that. So I might say I want to add an ROI calculator below the hero. And I can send that prompt off. And then under the hood, the Flint agent is starting to plan out using Claude um, how they want to be presenting this interactive component. It's reading the content. It sees that I actually already have a section of ROI calculator, so it's going to try and reuse that component so that everything stays on brand. And now it's going to go ahead. It's going to set up a to-do list. And it's now making the update. While we're waiting for, oh, there we go. Okay, so let me take a look at this interactive component that just got created. So I'm going to turn off the visual edit mode so I can start interacting with the component. Okay, so it looks like it lets me change my website visitors, and then I could change my conversion rate. Let's say it's 5%, and let's say each conversion is more like 5,000. And because Flint tends to convert pages at least 20% higher, we're gonna be able to see that, oh, look, like we could do 600K. And then from here, we can also then power CTAs like talk to sales, have lead capture forms that go to Marketo and so on. Yep. So this is Flint. Okay, now back to the regular program. Let's talk about what are skills and let's talk about how to download them. So, Corey, I'll have you take it away.
Sure. Yeah. So I think about skills as an executable SOP for an agent. A lot of people look at skills and they're like, oh, it's just like a bunch of text. It's just a really long prompt. Like, yes and no. You can give it a little bit more credit than that. The good news is that it's really simple because it's just a bunch of text in a markdown file. Um, how the agents use these skills is there's these things at the top that tell the skill or tell the agent when and how to use that skill. So it might be like, hey, when I want to do ABM landing pages, use X, Y, and Z skills. And in that skill, it can be told to use Flint, the Flint MCP, whatever other tooling, APIs, um, all the other pieces of the tech stack that you want to integrate into it. So a skill is a not even just one markdown file, one markdown text piece of prompts. It can also be a whole folder full of templates, examples, other reference points, even little hard coded pieces of code that run these scripts to do certain actions for you or automate certain steps of the process for you. So really, I think that a skill is here to stay because it's one of these foundational level parts of how agents work, where you're not just reliant on the training data that all the LLMs are pulling in when you ask it to make you a personalized ABM landing page. It's just going to kind of take its best guess and it's going to, agents are predictive, generative, um, and and non-deterministic, right? And so you're not even going to get the same answer twice. Skills help you to be more deterministic, more predictive, and generate the results that you actually expect to see. So if you want to do copywriting in a certain way every single time, you can SOPify that into a skill. If you want to create personalized ABM landing pages the same way every single time, you can do that within a skill. And so skills are these very sophisticated prompts that agents can take and work through long chains of tasks. Whereas I think that we're used to prompting of like one piece of the chat at a time. A skill is sort of like 20 prompts all into one so that the agent has everything it needs, all the questions it needs to answer. It can even loop in other skills as well to just go and run and make it more autonomous and proactive for you. How's that explanation?
I love it. There's a question about whether we'll be talking about Claude Chat or Claude Cowork/Code.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think about this, but in my view, I'm probably going to be repeating myself from the last webinar that we did, but there's nothing that you can't do in Cowork or in the chat that you can do in Claude Code. So you can do everything you want in Claude Code. You can't do everything you want in Cowork or in chat. So in my mind, it's like, why wouldn't you want all the power, all the tools at your disposal, like you do have with Claude Code in the terminal specifically? I tend to not even use it in the desktop app because it's just still a little bit of a dumbed down version of the agent and all of its capabilities. The terminal's not that scary, and I'm happy to go through briefly, like, a couple of basic instruction steps on how to get up and running with it. But I actually find it to be easier because one thing that Cloud Code can do in the terminal that Cowork and Chat can't do is that it can fix itself. And so anything that you need to do, any issue that comes up, any problem, any incomplete part of the process, the agent, when it has all the tools at its disposal, like it does in the terminal, can solve those problems for you. Whereas you'll find that when you're in Cowork or in the chat, it'll be like, oh, sorry, I can't do that. Or saw that this connector didn't really work. And now you're kind of left high and dry. Um, so I like always demoing things out of Cloud Code in the terminal. And I'm a big advocate for everyone using it out of the terminal as well, because you're just going to have the most options.
All right, looks like folks are hungry to see. Uh, would you like to start a demo of using Claude Code in the terminal?
Sure, let's do it. Let me share my screen here and then I'll move it around. Okay, I'll get this picture in picture so I can see everybody still. All right, cool. Is this big enough or do I need to zoom in a little bit? Maybe I'll zoom in just a tad just so people can see. Okay, so this is a terminal client. I think as Michelle mentioned last time, she used to work for Warp. Warp is also a really great terminal. There's a bunch of different terminal clients, which are essentially like if you think about a web browser, you have Chrome and Safari and Mozilla and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, it's still a browser. At the end of the day, this is still a terminal. There's just different terminal clients. So we have Warp. We have this one's called Solo, soloterm.com, which I'm a huge fan of. Um, Several others out there, iTerm, Ghosty, so on and so forth. Um, it's fairly simple to get up and running in your terminal if you know what you're doing. I'll just point to this resource really quickly. This is a site I made called codingformarketers.com. It's a step-by-step guide to how to get up and running with Claude Code in your terminal to start using it for marketing use cases. And so it'll quite literally walk you through step by step. And if anything goes wrong or if there's anything that's nuanced about your setup process that doesn't match what's in here, just take a screenshot and put that into Claude or ChatGPT in your browser, and it'll probably debug it for you and figure it out. And then you'll land into a spot where you'll get a empty terminal and you'll start up Claude Code, and then you can start to play with things. Um, since we're talking about skills, I'll talk about the skills and how those get installed as well. There's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can just download the skills from GitHub. So mine, for example, are under GitHub, Corey Haines 31 marketing skills. And you can see that this just like a document repo. Um, all the skills are here. I've had people, they'll go through, they'll go into the skill, they'll see the MD file here, the markdown file, and they will just select all, copy and paste into Claude and be like, use this skill. Um, there's an easier way to do this. There's a couple of tools within your terminal you can use that are called package managers, and there's one called NPX. And so all you have to do is go to any one of the skills that you want to find. You can go to this directory called skills.sh. And for example, I'll find why did I just type in wrong? That was weird. I should be able to come up here. Oh, I don't know where my skills are. That's weird. Um, you can go to the README, for example, and I'll have setup instructions here where it's very simply a couple of steps that I just passed because I was going too fast. You can use NPX skills and you can just drop this into your terminal. Once you paste that in, you click enter. The skill is going to start to install on your computer. And now they are on your computer locally. They get saved to this file that's kind of hidden from you. It's called .claude, or if you're using Codex, it'll be called .agents. And that'll be this little folder that's tucked away and hidden for you that you can really only access via the terminal. But just know that they're there and they're saved in your computer, and now you can start to install them. So what I was just doing was I was getting my little demo environment set up here. And I asked Claude, I said, hey, we're going to showcase some skills related to SEO and content. And then it went found and it searched through my computer. And sorry, the formatting is getting a little wonky here with how zoomed in it is. Um, it found these 5 skills that we can go through. So in my marketing skills repo, there's a ton. There's 42 now. And so you can go through and you can see all the different buckets. We have ones related to SEO and content. We have ones related to conversion rate optimization, content, paid ads, growth, sales and go-to-market strategy. I'm trying to like be comprehensive here. So anything you want to do, there is a skill for it. And there'll be a new one coming out here, even about how to make like a marketing plan as well. But again, each one of these are just markdown files that we're going to use. So when we're referencing the skill, it's going to use the skill to then go and execute something. What I've done is I've made this demo environment where I made this fictional form builder SaaS called Formcraft just to make it feel a little bit more real and tangible so you can actually see the results of what we did. I think the last time, maybe something that I showed you, can correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, the last
Mhm.
time we went through some programmatic SEO templates, did we do that or no?
I
Maybe
don't think
not.
we did, but we added a form to a page.
Okay, okay. Maybe I can go through that more towards the end. I'll start a little bit more basic here. But Claude now has access to this entire repo, this whole site, everything, every line of code that it can see. And so when it has access to everything, then it can go and implement it for me, right? And this is one of the big things that I'm trying to get people to understand about using Cloud Code in the terminal as well, is that there's a big difference between me being the middleman between AI and my tools and copying and pasting things between versus me giving access, uh, me giving AI access to my tools so that it can do all the work for me. I don't have to be the one copy and pasting like a monkey, just going back and forth. Um, so some of these tools are actually going to go, they're actually going to like see real results here. So I kind of paused it here because I got a little bit antsy. I'm going to tell it to continue with this SEO audit. So I'll say continue with the SEO audit and tell me the results here when done, and then pause before we do the next one. One of the really fun parts I think about working out of the terminal as well is that similar to that little agent sidebar that you saw in Flint, because Flint is using Cloud Code under the hood, is that the agent is going to actually show me all the things that it's doing. Even though I might not understand it because it's a bunch of terminal gobbledygook like echo quote equals all this kind of crazy stuff, you'll start to pick up on what it's doing. And I find this to be really helpful because even though I know how to code, I'm not the most technical person. Like, I'm really not a classically trained software engineer. And so I learn a ton just by watching what the agent does in the terminal. So I understand, okay, it's grepping. What is a grep? Oh, it's making a Python script to go and do X, Y, and Z. It's looking through all these different types of
Mhm.
files. Whereas if I was doing the same thing in Claude Chat or Claude Cowork, it would just be a black box. I would have virtually no idea what it's doing under the hood. And that can be cool because it's like magic. You're like, oh, wow, how did it even do that? How did it know? But that doesn't really help me become a better user of AI. It doesn't really help me understand all the boundaries and limitations, or potentially even what's possible. Maybe I'm thinking too small, for example. And so watching what it does and how it does it helps me be a better user of AI to get the squeeze the most juice out of the lemon. So here's our first skill report. The audit is done. And this is always funny because, like, well, we can just go through it here before I talk about it, but it'll give us a little bit of a summary. Um, it's search invisible according to Claude, which is not good. There's no robots.txt, no sitemap. There's a bunch of metadata duplicates. Um, I set this up to be really bad, obviously, because it makes for a better demo. But now it's going to give me the top 5 priority fixes. It's going to find a bunch of technical findings and tell me what to do, what's missing, what to add on page, right? And then I can just go through and tell it fix all these things, and it will go through and fix them. I'm not actually going to do that because you're not going to care to watch the terminal do that, and because these are all things that are happening under the hood, you're not going to see any change here. So there's really not going to be like a wow factor to it. So we'll move on from it. But I did want to point out that it's doing a lot of work here, right? And if we actually went through line by line and all the things that it found and all the things that it can fix in a matter of minutes, like, this would take me a month to do by hand. And now I'm just like, oh, okay, did its audit, now fix it. Thank you. Bye. Like, it's pretty incredible. It's doing a lot of work under the hood. And again, this is all because it has full access to my code, to my repo. It can look through every line of code, and it can actually do it for me because it has access to my repo. It has access to my GitHub. It has access to my Vercel for hosting, right? So let's go to the next one, which is actually, let's do this one next. We'll do an AI SEO audit as well. Say this is great. Let's stash this for now. Now let's do the AI SEO audit and tell me the report here. Then we'll consider the next one to showcase. There's definitely a couple little things that I try to guide the agent to help me present a good demo, whereas before, or whereas otherwise, I might just be like, give me all the detail, give me everything. Let's look through this very carefully before I tell you to go and implement anything, right? So we're kind of just letting her rip here, but but you can see that there's a lot of really meaty stuff here, and this is all. In fact, I would challenge you to use Claude Code to try to do an SEO audit without this skill and see how much it finds. And then use the SEO audit skill that I put together that you can download completely for free and see how much more it finds. Because this is the result of me doing like hundreds of SEO audits on a ton of sites and like finding all of the edge cases. And I'm sure there's still going to be more. But I just wanted to make that point that these skills are giving the agent so much more power and context and expertise to be able to get you not just like twice as good results, but like 10 times as good results. All right, so it's going to invoke the AI SEO skill. And by the way, Michelle, I don't know if maybe you can see the chat better than me. Were there any questions about this SEO
There,
audit one?
not particularly about this one, but there's a question from Lily about how Claude would often ask for permissions to terminal gobbledygook, and
Yes.
if there's any guidance for how to answer those questions without needing to ping an engineer.
Okay. Okay. Permissions as in access to tools or permissions as in like executing commands in the terminal. Because um, there are certain modes in Cloud Code where we have they just have this new one which I don't really like personally. It's called auto mode that tries to let the agent have permission to execute a lot of the terminal commands that otherwise it would ask for permission for. Like, hey, do I have permission to go search this file? You're like, yes, of course, just go, just do it. Um, there's accept edits on. There's bypass permissions, which is my favorite. It's kind of like YOLO mode. Uh, otherwise, yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but if it's just a matter of getting access to the right tools, once Claude has access to it, then you should be able to do anything that you want to.
Yeah, I think there were some questions. I was sorry, I'm the one who posed the question.
Hmm.
I had it did an SEO audit. After it did the audit, I had it go in and make some of the tweaks, which actually required it to change some code in our company's repos, which I was a little
Hmm.
bit nervous about because I didn't actually know which part, how changing that part of the code might impact other parts of our code.
Mm.
So I just had to
Uh-huh.
keep on asking our engineers if like, hey, is this change okay? I think eventually I like rolled it up into like a PR and then, an
Okay.
engineer reviewed it. But like, is there another way to go about it where, um, I don't feel like I might be making these like major changes to our code base or in general, is it okay to like make those changes and have
Yeah. No, I think you're totally going about it the right way. First of all, like let her rip. I think it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And as long as you are working off of a branch, there's truly nothing destructive or, you can't really nuke the code base or do anything that's irreversible. That's the whole point of having GitHub and version control and branches is that you have these isolated, safe environments to make changes. And then that PR, that merge request, is on the engineer's side to make sure that whatever you did is safe to merge back into main and to roll out for all the users and for every website visitor. And so, and there's a lot of tooling around that too that does the work on. There's these things called like lint, which is just going to look for like really basic level errors. Vercel, your host, is going to look and see does this actually build and compile. There's other tools like greptile, which are going to look for actual bugs in the code. You don't really have to worry about that. I would say as long as you're working off of a branch and then you are submitting a PR and you can have Claude review and double check and triple check and quadruple check that PR. You can even use other tools like Codex as a second pair of eyes. In fact, there's a skill called the Codex skill, which allows you to use the Codex CLI to double check the work that Claude Code is doing on any one of the Claude models. And that can also find additional little things. But I would say, great job. Don't be afraid. You're doing it the right way.
Awesome. That was super helpful.
Yeah, cool. Any more questions on the SEO auto one before I move on to AI SEO? All right, I'll just
Oh,
jump up here. Go ahead.
this is Brittany. I just had one question. So, this is really cool. I'm just wondering, like, how would you evangelize these insights with other team members? I think what we're finding is that, like, I'm building a dashboard, but it lives on my desktop. So then I have
Yep.
to like put it into Replit for the rest of the team to see, and or we all have to be on the same Claude instance and viewing an artifact. So yeah, would love to see like how you package this to then, share via email or PDF with other team members.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think part of it is helping people help themselves. And so the more technical and kind of like
Hmm.
Claude literate that they're going to be,
Hmm.
the easier time you're going to have in like sharing these kinds of things.
Right.
If you're in Cloud Code and you're making a custom dashboard and you're uploading it to GitHub and everybody else is still just in like Claude the browser and you're like, oh yeah, just like, do a git pull and open up in your terminal, they're going to be like, what are you even talking
Mm.
about?
Yeah.
So it's in those like stages and steps. What I've done internally at my company, my agency Conversion Factory, is uh, we have a shared GitHub repo for all of our sort of internal use cases and things that we're experimenting with. And everybody has access to it. Anybody can push and and merge branches. Uh, and I've basically sat down and like trained all of them how to do that and give them the confidence to just like let it rip, let it go. If there's something that breaks, it's okay. I'll fix it. But just giving them permission to like actually go and do things and also quite literally forcing them to use Claude Code in the terminal versus
Mm.
Codex. Because again, once you do this here, everything else is like a piece of cake. Um, I will say, I think that there's really like product opportunities and gaps for this right now that we're all experiencing, where we're like, okay, so I made a dashboard. Now, how do I share it with my team? Do I really want to host a whole app and then like have to deal with inviting my team members? And then when I make updates, is that going to wipe anything that they do? Like, this is kind of a whole new world for us that we're still figuring it out. Um, the furthest that I've gone is I try to avoid sharing like custom dashboards or mini apps that I've built for myself and trying to share that with other people. What I will do is I'll really encourage everyone to share skills and to share access to different outside tools like APIs and MCPs. And I record tons of Loom videos, like showcasing what I'm doing to help them do it. But yeah, I don't know if there's a great answer to like, hey, I made this custom thing and now I need to give my team access. That is like a kind of a hard problem that I don't think is super well solved right now, besides, something like Replit, like you mentioned.
No, that's really helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, moving right along here to AI SEO. Again, I'll just skim over this just so you can see what it's doing. But again, it's mentioning that we have some traditional SEO problems, which are amplifying the AEO problems here. But it's also mentioning that there's no agent specific file types like .md files, which you can also host and publish on your site, or .txt. Um, these bot signals, definitions, there's no stats and citations, expert attributions, which are the number one kind of boosters for AI getting mentioned in the AI chat results. So looking at these different priorities, these specific findings. Again, I don't want to spend a ton of time going through all of them, but again, this skill was specifically made and curated based off of the best practices that I've seen for AI SEO. And so, of course, you can go and ask Claude Code to do an AI SEO audit for you, but then good luck trying to figure out what it actually did or why it did that, why it's presenting those findings. This is my best attempt at trying to make something that is actually safe, that we all agree these are the standards and this is the way that we measure something that's good and useful versus something that's not. Um, there's even some controversial things in here. Actually, strangely, I've had a lot of people revolting against the llms.txt file, and there was a whole like Twitter mob like this is a sham and isn't useful at all and da 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 da. And I was like, well, can you prove that it's not useful? Because I mean, I'm just having Claude make this. Like, this is not like a ton of work for me to go and do. And so I waited it out for the last month, knowing and thinking that I think that this probably is being used more than we think. We just don't know about it yet. And then like last week, Google published a whole report on how to show up in the Google AI overview results. And llms.txt was a big part of it. And I was like, see, don't be too hasty. And again, like it's important to have the right rubric for us all to measure off of. And I think skills is the right protocol for us to agree upon the rubrics and how we're actually measuring these things. Um, so yeah, a bunch of different things here. I'm just going to kind of skim over it so you can see the work that it's doing. It's a lot of actually really meaty, really beefy things that's giving you very prescriptive advice about what to do. And now we're going to go through and do another one. Um, what I'm going to do is, yeah, actually, let's do this next one. This is kind of related to SEO. I think this is also a very ubiquitous need where you need to like plan out your website and all the different content types that you're going to have on your site. Let's stash this. Let me showcase another one with voice dictation here. Let's now showcase the site architecture skill and give me an audit and a plan and report back here before you implement anything. So one of the problems that I kept finding myself encounter was um, actually because of Claude, because I was like, man, it's doing so much and it's implementing so much. It's making pages. It's doing this over here. It's doing that over there. And particularly with my team as well, when we're doing work for our clients, we want to make sure that we're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and like uh, creating this Frankenstein website of like someone's using Claude to make these programmatic pages, someone's using Claude to make these feature pages, someone's using Claude to make 3 different pricing pages, and they're not all cohesive in their strategy. And so I sat down and I made this skill called the site architecture skill. And it's really, again, to create the umbrella 30,000 foot strategy on this is what the perfect architecture of a website should look like. And accounting for X, Y, and Z nuances or things that you want to personalize or that are specific to you and to your company, then we can adjust it and tailor fit it to you and your use cases. But otherwise, now we can tell Claude, okay, all the things that you're doing, make sure that they fit neatly and are organized into these subfolders, into this URL structure. Make sure that we have these things in the nav bar and those things in the footer. Make sure that this is the whole plan, right? This is how everything is going to get organized to be the most SEO friendly and the most user friendly on the website as well. You can see here that it's spitting out a lot of things. Right now, the page inventory is only 5 pages. It's a pretty light website. So if I really want to go ham today and start making a bunch of pages and not have to redo things and make redirects and move files around, which Claude actually struggles with a little bit sometimes, and I want to have the right architecture from the get-go, then let's make a plan. Here's our site architecture principles, hub and spoke, 3-click max. Yeah, 1 URL pattern per content type, the specifics about the URL slugs. It drives me crazy to see any underscores, for example. And And so now we have a whole sitemap in front of us, essentially. Where if I were building this out for my client, Formcraft, this fictional SaaS, I can say, great, here's all of our feature pages we're going to make for you, all of our integration pages, our templates pages, pricing page, solutions pages, compare pages, our learn resources hub that might have, nested subfolders in here, which again is great for SEO, company pages, legal pages, and now it's all mapped out for us. And I can save this back in our GitHub and use this, create a document for Claude to use so that any other page that I create in the future will first reference this
With
sitemap and this
this
site
Slack
architecture
response because
to
someone on
make
my
sure that
team
it's
is
kosher.
fielding a question from one of our sponsors.
Oh, I'm
When
sorry.
we
Go
sent
ahead.
out the sponsorship packages, we're originally
Oh,
going to do a
I think we need to
small
mute someone.
partner dinner on day 0. But
There it is.
Okay. Great.
Um, so yeah, we've got breadcrumbs, we've got all the things, right? And again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to tell it to implement this, but it is pretty amazing when you tell it like, okay, go. And it's like, cool, I'll start making 100 pages for you. And then 10 minutes later, it's done, right? Um, and I think this is also a theme, as if I can like pontificate here for a second, that it's becoming way more important to just get a V1 and an MVP of something marketing related out first and then perfect it later because the cost of creation is so low and it's so fast. Whereas before with marketing, we're like, okay, let's really make sure that this is all dialed in. We don't want to have to redo this. We don't want to have to rewrite the copy. We don't want to have to rearrange the layout because it took so long. Now, it doesn't take that long. It's easy to rewrite. It's easy to reorganize. It's easy to restructure the layout. So I'm telling people, and this is our approach with clients, is like, look, we might make a competitor comparison page. It might not be perfect when we publish it, but then we can go back, we can make edits, we can update, we can change the layout, we can change the whole voice and tone of the page later on. And that is okay because it's that whole thing of like, if you're trading stocks, time in market beats timing the market.
Mm.
And here with marketing now, it's the same thing. It's like the faster I can get my V1 out and just get this into market to have time, it's way better than waiting another 3 months for me to get to this and do it perfectly, which there's no such thing as perfect, obviously, either. Um, so this is an amazing way to just get a lot of V1s out there. Then you can circle back. Now let's refine. And people are going to be uncomfortable with that. I know it's hard if you're working in a big team. You want to make decisions by committee. You don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to put something out there that could potentially, harm the brand. But it's all about trade-offs. There's no perfect solution here. And I think that the trade-off that a lot of people should be making now is they should err on the side of being fast and aggressive and ship stuff versus being too scared to do anything. Any other questions here on this before I move on to, I can do some stuff about keyword research and SEO strategy.
I had a question around, I like how you're like building the skill set out super helpful and updating it as you go. So once we install the package, when you make updates, do we need to do anything to get like the latest if you go in and tweak things
Mm.
or yeah, just want to make sure we have like the latest version.
Yeah, really good question. So what's supposed to happen, it doesn't always happen, is that when I push an update to the skills repo, you'll actually see something very similar to this down here, where it'll say, hey, there's an update available. Or the next time that you use a skill that has an update to it, it'll actually go and check the version. And so let me pull up one that has had a couple of different updates to it, like product marketing, for example. If you're on a 1.0 version and then it goes and it's checking kind of the source and it sees that there's a 2.0 version, it'll flag that to you and say, hey, there might be a updated version of this skill. Do you want to download it? Otherwise, you have to kind of keep tabs a little bit or just check in with Claude once in a while and ask, hey, is there any updates of the skills that I should know about. I try to keep a good log of all the updates that I do to the marketing skills repo. Um, I was telling Michelle last night, like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but there's a 2.0 version that I made recently that had a bunch of breaking changes. And so, if we want to use any of the new skills that I come out with, then you have to basically reinstall the whole skill set. But otherwise, it's as easy as asking Claude, uh, hey, please update the marketing skills. And then it should know what to do, right? It'll go and find the original source URL in GitHub, check to see if there's updates, see what those updates are, and then go and pull in the appropriate ones um, into your local computer. And uh, I will say though that I don't think a lot of people actually do this, but the nature of skills is that you're making a copy of the skills on your local computer. So you can make changes to my skills personalized to you, which is great because we talked about this last time, but like I like to use the M dash, for example, and I like to have a space on either side. So that's in my copywriting skill. If you don't like that, you can tell Claude, hey, in the copywriting skill, don't use M dashes anymore. Only use colons or commas or semicolons or whatever it is. But then the next time that you get an update from the copywriting skill, it's probably going to overwrite the changes and customizations that you've made unless you tell it to keep your customizations and then it will rectify for you. So just a little caveat to be careful of.
That's amazing. That was going to be my next question. So, do you have just like a section where it's like called like customizations, and then you say like retain these customizations with every update? Or what's the
Mm,
easiest way to do that?
hmm. That's a good question. I'm not sure if that's something that should be like hard coded into the skill itself, or if that's just something that you prompt it and you say like, hey, update the marketing skill, but make sure you preserve the changes that I've made to it.
Mm.
That could be something that you just,
Okay.
type in every time as a little fallback. But but yeah, at the bottom, because it'll read through the skills uh linearly, right? And so if at the very bottom you have your customizations, it's still going to go through and use the M dash, and at the bottom be like, oh, whoops, maybe I shouldn't use the M dash. Let me flag it to the user. And every single time, it's probably going to have to correct itself and do the work twice. So it's probably better even to just actually change. You can tell it like, hey, in the copywriting skill, never use M dashes. Remove that as one of the instructions in the skill. And then it will actually go through into your local copy of the copywriting skill, change it, save that, and now the next time that you use it, it won't use the M dash.
Is it okay if I show two very quick demos as well?
Yeah, yeah, please do.
Yeah, I wanted to show a different flavor than just SEO. So I'm gonna share my
Mhm.
screen right now, and we're gonna see a different terminal. I use the Warp terminal, and I like it because I can also change the theme. So I can change it to something that looks nice. I'm gonna stick to this black one.
Which,
So
by the way, I just found out that the founder of Resend, um, uh, oh shoot, I'm forgetting his name now. He created the Dracula theme, right?
Zeno, yes,
Zeno.
well, specifically, it's actually Docula rather than Dracula. That's
Okay,
why I
okay, yeah.
remember when I was in the company. Yeah, so I was the first engineer at Warp as well, which is also why I have some loyalty. So I wanted to show you what an ad skill will look like. So actually copied and pasted it here. So I'm here saying I'm going to use the slash ad skill, and I'm asking it to plan me a paid campaign targeting marketing go-to-market teams, and it's going to cover category keywords as well as help me do LinkedIn industry ABM. And it's going to group by intent, so every ad group maps to exactly one landing page. So something I wanted to call out here is that I actually set up a product marketing markdown file in my skills. So this is also what the marketing skills that Corey wrote is going to prompt you to do, which is you put everything that's like specific to your company, your competitors, your positioning, your pricing, all in this file, so that every time you're doing a marketing workflow, the Claude doesn't have to recreate its understanding of your business. It would just go to this file. So while this is loading, I'm going to show you what that file looks like on this other tab. So let's see. I think it's called, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna have to share my whole desktop. Okay, so this is what my product marketing file looks like. It explains what my company is and our business model, our target audience, etc. Now it looks very long. The thing is, I did not write this by hand. I actually told Claude, hey, can you read through my website, read through my Notion, and then fill out this file. And then Claude built all of this for me. And so the next time I am running a marketing workflow, it's already getting all that context. Okay, look, so it's done. And it looks like it has come up with some ideas for landing pages that I don't yet have. So it looks like I need to have a ABM page for ads. And it looks like I'm missing a Flint versus lead pages page. So I want to show you this next thing. It's called scale stacking. So I have this scale. I'm using Corey's scales to come up with pages I should be building. And now I'm going to use a Flint's MCP to push all of those page suggestions to Flint. So Flint is a hosted version, hosted and managed version of your marketing website. So you don't have to strictly manage your GitHub, your marketing site on GitHub, for example. So I'm going to say, okay, pick me 2 pages I don't yet have and make them using the Flint MCP. So prior to this, I had also connected Claude to Flint's MCP, and I can send instructions later on. But this way, Claude is able to call into external tools and push things into my Flint, which is where my marketing website and my landing pages live. You can also imagine pushing things into your ad platforms, your email platforms, email, or even Slack. Okay, so it looks like it's going to go create me 2 pages, one industries page and then one Google Ads page, and it's going to start calling the Flint MCP. So this is going to take a minute. So I'm going to show you what it had built last night when I ran this prompt. Opening a new window, opening up Flint. So this is the lead pages landing page that was completely created from Claude using scales and pushing into Flint MCP. So it now has this nice comparison page between Flint and lead pages, explaining why you should move from Flint pages to lead pages to Flint. And then if everything looks good, I can click publish, and then I will have a amazing URL I can start putting into my Google Ads. Another fun one that I wanted to show y'all to show how it's not all about just websites is let's say we want to do co-marketing. Let me make this a little bigger. So I really admire Corey Haines, and I'd love to brainstorm a way to co-market with him. Use the co-marketing skill. All right, it's going to launch the co-marketing skill. While waiting, I wanted to mention the permissions mode I'm on right now is bypass permissions, which means that I don't have to keep giving Claude permission to run commands. I turn this on whenever I know that I'm running something very safe. So in this case, this task is all about coming up with ideas. So it's not going to be writing into my email or writing into any code. So I feel pretty safe about that. And to toggle that, you can go click Shift Tab to move. Okay, so it's found the co-marketing skill. I'm going to answer some of the questions. So, does Flynn work with most CMS platforms? Yeah, so Flynn works alongside CMS platforms. So it's kind of like how Unbounce works in that you can use Sanity and Contentful for your homepage. But if you're wanting just landing pages, Flynn can work alongside it. We can host your pages on a subdomain or a folder of your website. For example, we are running all the comparison pages for windsurf. So if you go to windsurf versus cursor, these pages actually live on Flynn servers, whereas windsurf.com continues to live on their main CMS. Question from Brittany, where are your skills stored to invoke or point them to in Warp? So all my skills are living inside my root folder under home folder.claude/skills. So I can show you what it looks like. So the thing is, whether or not you're using Warp or Solo or any kind of other terminal, all of them are accessing the same file system. So Corey's skills are also living in the same folder as my skills are. I'm just using a different client to access those skills. So the way that I would see my skills while this is loading, I'm not sure why it's taking so long, but I will click CD, which is a way of getting into a folder. And then I will go on to tilde, which is a shortcut for my home, /.claude. And then now I'm inside this folder, and I could also click open dot, and this actually opens it up in a finder. So it's a lot easier for me to parse than needing to CD and open files. So I can go in here, go into skills, and voila, this is all of what marketing skills I'm using. Okay, so here are some ideas for working together with Corey. Okay, Corey roasts and Flynn rebuilds. Want a quick feedback from Corey. What do you think about this idea?
Super fun idea. It's almost like I came up with some of these ideas and put them into a skill.
Amazing. Okay, we only got 2 minutes left, but what I had initially wanted to show is how this could actually go ahead and send him an email from this. But I'm going to pause here and close out. All right, so what do we learn today? We learned what skills are. We learned how to download them. We learned how to use them inside of Claude so that we can have Claude work more like a senior marketer than the average person. And I'm going to be sending this recording after this webinar to everyone who attended. And if folks have any other questions, feel free to contact me at michelle@triflin.com, or you can follow Corey on Twitter. Corey, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, I just dropped some links into the chat. My personal site, corey.co, has links to everything and all my social media, Twitter, LinkedIn. And then I've got, marketing-skills.com. There's coding for marketers.com if you want to be more technical. And then if you obviously want help with this directly, I have my agency Conversion Factory and a new tool I'm working on called Magister, which is sort of like this terminal, but in the browser.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Corey. Really appreciate you coming in and sharing all of your knowledge with the community.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Thanks to everyone. Feel free to reach out with any questions. Appreciate all the support always. And feel free to always make any requests too if you have a request for a new skill, an upgrade, an update. Always happy to hear it.
Awesome. Well, see you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.